Hey, this is Ryan with Muscle Without Meltdown, continuing my daily YAP series. Today, I want to talk about a trend I'm seeing on Instagram mostly. The idea being that you should train low rep ranges exclusively because it's the most efficient and going to maximize fiber recruitment the most efficiently. And that is true. And I would definitely recommend training low reps to you. I will say that I trained low reps pretty much exclusively for the first several years, maybe even a decade of my training career. So like whether or not I maxed out my gains is, something that can't really be answered, but I gained a good 30, maybe even 40 pounds, in my career. I've downsized pretty significantly now, but and that was all low reps, even just doing once a week most of the time. So I definitely think it can be really effective if you push the intensity. Um, I think the concern with fatigue is overstated. Now, compared, if you're doing low reps of like, and then maybe doing 6 to 10 sets compared to doing these mega high volume programs, I can see the fatigue concern. But otherwise, I think people are kind of overplaying it, being a little dramatic and channeling the inner Mike Mentzer too much. So I wouldn't, to me, the fatigue aspect was never a concern. But then again, I was never looking into doing a crazy high volume program. If I wasn't doing low reps, um, I would still probably at most be doing the standard 10 to 20 sets per muscle group, which I would never do 20. I'd be closer to 10 to 12 and split that up over, 2 sessions, or ideally hitting every muscle group twice per week. Very standard. I wouldn't be looking into doing some crazy volume program. So I can't really speak to that, but I wouldn't really encourage most people to do that anyway. So to me, it's a non concern. I think the fatigue thing is overblown. And if you're worried about the fatigue from high rep sets, it's like, are you worried from the fatigue you accumulate from doing cardio, which is essentially, a million rep sets? No. So what I will say is the people endorsing the low reps tend to be younger, and maybe they've only been lifting for a few years. And that's not to say that they aren't super accomplished and very knowledgeable, uh, just that they don't have the time in the trenches, so to speak, of just lifting weights for like 20 plus years to know that the low reps are going to catch up with their joints probably. I mean, that's what happened to me. And I was always super thorough with warming up. I never ego lifted. I paid really close attention to form and execution, but even then, to this day now, I can't do low reps for triceps and lateral movements and several other things because it just causes me too much discomfort in my joints. So that is something to be aware of. And what I would also say is that we will probably find down the road that there's added benefits to training in higher rep ranges. That's just how science evolves. So you never want to take whatever kind of the hot thing is and be absolutist about it. You want to incorporate it where you can, but don't base your entire program around it forever. I would, if I could go back and give myself advice, I would train in blocks of those low reps for maybe like 12 weeks. And then I would do 12 weeks where I trained in a higher rep range of more of like a classic bodybuilding, 10 to 12. And I would alternate between those. And I think that would have been much better for my joints, and I probably would have gotten better results. Now, something that no one really talks about and is very important, maybe the most important, is what is most enjoyable for you? What rep range do you like training in? Because, like for me, it's just not going to happen that I'm ever going to get into these sets of like beyond 10 reps, honestly, but like I would say 12 max. Pushing beyond that, it's just this uncharted territory that I don't personally enjoy. I think for me, I like the feeling not of fighting the burn, but fighting just this feeling of an immovable object. It's almost like fighting somebody in a dream where you're like as hard as you can, but nothing's happening. That's what I like. So do what you like, but also keep longevity in mind. Um, I think that about covers it for today, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for another YAP session. We'll see what pops into my noggin. I'll see you then.